Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
P0070 is part of a family of codes that all point to potential problems with the room air temperature sensor, a P0071 sensor circuit. Performance P0072 sensor circuit, low voltage. P0073 sensor circuit, high voltage. P0074 sensor circuit, erratic behavior. These codes can be used to target various problems with the ambient air temperature sensor, such as inadequate performance, abnormally low or high voltages, or erratic sensor behavior. When one of these codes is recorded, it's important to carry out a more thorough diagnosis to identify and resolve the specific problem. The ambient air temperature sensor monitors the outside temperature and sends the data it collects to the powertrain control module, PCM. This information is used to display the outside temperature and to modify the operation of the automatic climate control system, if necessary. However, if the information sent by the ambient air temperature sensor varies significantly from the data from the intake air temperature, IAT, and engine coolant temperature, ECT, sensors, the PCM will recognize this as an inconsistency and register code P0070. If you drive a Ford, especially a Ford Focus, BMW, Volkswagen or Mini, your vehicle's onboard diagnostics may record the P0070 code. And it's important to have the problem checked by a technician as soon as possible. Note, the definition of code P0070 may vary depending on the vehicle manufacturer. Consult the appropriate repair manual or repair database for the exact code definition. What are the possible causes of code P0070? Possible causes of code P0070, which is associated with the ambient air temperature sensor, may include the following: faulty room air temperature sensor, and the room air temperature sensor itself may be faulty, producing incorrect or inconsistent readings. Wiring or connectivity problems. Problems with the wiring or electrical connections of the room air temperature sensor can lead to reading errors and cause code P0070. This may include loose connections, damaged wires, or ground problems. Circuit problems and malfunctions in the electrical circuit of the room air temperature sensor, such as short circuits or wire breaks, can also trigger this code. It's important to note that the exact cause of the P0070 code may vary depending on the vehicle and its onboard diagnostic system. To diagnose and resolve the problem, we recommend consulting a qualified mechanic or automotive technician, who can carry out tests to determine the source of the error and undertake the necessary repairs. What are the common symptoms of P0070? Common symptoms associated with code P0070, which is related to the ambient air temperature sensor, may include the following: incorrect display of outside temperature, and one of the most obvious symptoms is an incorrect display of outside temperature on the vehicle's instrument panel. This reading may be inconsistent or not correspond to the actual temperature. Automatic climate control system malfunction, as some vehicles use data from the ambient air temperature sensor to regulate automatic climate control operation. A faulty sensor can lead to inadequate heating or cooling. Engine trouble light. The engine trouble light, the key-shaped engine light, often called check engine, may light up on the instrument panel in response to code P0070. This indicates a potential problem with the ambient air temperature sensor. How to diagnose the P0070 code? Diagnosing the P0070 code can be complicated, as it is a generic code with several possible causes. Here are some general diagnostic steps. Using a diagnostic tool. Use an automotive diagnostic tool to read code P0070 and other associated codes. Be sure to note all the information provided by the tool, including live data if available. Checking live data. If your diagnostic tool is displaying live data, check the PIDs, parameter identification parameters, for coolant temperature, ECT, intake air temperature, IAT, and, if applicable, transmission oil temperature, TOT. Compare these values after the vehicle has been stationary for a few hours, and check that they agree within a few degrees. If one of the values differs significantly from the others, it warrants investigation. Visual inspection: examine the wiring and electrical connections of the ambient air temperature sensor to make sure they are in good condition. PCM diagnosis: if the above steps do not reveal an obvious problem, there may be a failure of the powertrain control module, PCM. However, checking the PCM may require advanced diagnostic tools. It is important to note that the diagnostic process may vary from vehicle to vehicle, and it is recommended that you follow the diagnostic procedures specified by the vehicle manufacturer. For specific vehicles such as BMW, Volkswagen, or any other model, it's best to consult a vehicle-specific repair manual, or to leave the task to a professional if you have no experience in automotive repair. Severity of fault code P0070. The severity of fault code P0070 depends largely on the underlying cause of the problem and how it affects vehicle operation. Here are some considerations: incorrect display of outside temperature, if the only symptom is an incorrect display of outside temperature on the instrument panel, this can be annoying, but generally not serious in terms of vehicle safety or performance. However, it can make it difficult to control the air conditioning. Air conditioning malfunction: if code P0070 causes the air conditioning to malfunction, this can be uncomfortable, particularly in hot or cold weather, but does not usually involve an immediate safety risk. Engine performance risk: in some cases, a P0070 code may affect engine performance, particularly if the problem involves other engine-related sensors or components. This can lead to increased fuel consumption, reduced power, or higher emissions. The severity will also depend on how the P0070 code is resolved. In all cases, it is important to diagnose and repair the problem, as a malfunction in the engine management system can potentially have consequences for the safety, performance, and efficiency of your vehicle. We recommend that you call in an automotive professional to assess and resolve the problem. How to fix the P0070 code? It's important to note that the P0070 code may have similar triggers and symptoms to other fault codes. However, this does not necessarily mean that the solutions are the same for all codes. Every vehicle is different, and it's essential to refer to your vehicle manufacturer's specific repair information before undertaking any DIY repairs. We recommend consulting a repair manual or repair database for specific instructions on solving code P0070. Look for confirmed solutions that are specific to your vehicle, as fixes may vary according to vehicle make and model. If you're not sure of your auto repair skills, or if the problem seems complex, it's best to call in an automotive professional to diagnose and solve the problem. The safety and reliability of your vehicle are paramount, so it's best not to take unnecessary risks by attempting repairs if you don't feel confident in carrying them out correctly. Here are some general guidelines for solving this code, but it is essential to refer to vehicle-specific repair information and manufacturer's data before carrying out any repairs. Check confirmed solutions. Look for vehicle-specific solutions that have been confirmed as effective in resolving the P0070 code. Fixes may vary from one car model to another. Check the sensor. If the problem is related to the ambient air temperature sensor, check the sensor for malfunctions or failures. Replace if necessary. Inspect the wiring. Inspect the wiring and electrical connections of the room air temperature sensor to make sure they are in good condition. Repair or replace any damaged wiring. PCM diagnostics. If the above steps have not solved the problem, there may be a fault in the powertrain control module, PCM. PCM diagnostics may require advanced diagnostic tools. Erasing the code. Once you've solved the problem, clear the P0070 code using your diagnostic tool to clear the check engine light. Finally, it's important to note that if you're not comfortable with automotive repairs, or if the problem persists after following the diagnostic steps, it's recommended that you call in an automotive professional to carry out the necessary repairs. Related codes. Trouble code P0070 relates to the ambient air temperature sensor and associated circuit. However, other fault codes may be associated with similar problems or malfunctions in the engine management system. Here are some associated fault codes that may occur in connection with P0070, P0071, ambient air temperature sensor circuit, performance. This code generally indicates an ambient air temperature sensor performance problem. P0072, room air temperature sensor circuit, low voltage. This code is recorded when the room air temperature sensor reports an abnormally low voltage. P0073, room air temperature sensor circuit, high voltage. This code is recorded when the room air temperature sensor reports an abnormally high voltage. These codes are usually related to problems in the room air temperature monitoring system and may be associated with code P0070. It is important to accurately diagnose the underlying cause of the code to resolve the problem. If in doubt, we recommend that you call in an automotive professional to carry out the appropriate repairs and tests. Frequently asked questions: what are the recommended steps for resolving the P0070 code? Steps to resolve the P0070 code include repairing or replacing the ambient air temperature sensor, repairing damaged wiring, or correcting any other problem identified during diagnosis. Can the P0070 code be safely ignored, or is it better to repair it immediately? It is generally advisable to resolve code P0070 as soon as possible, as it may indicate problems in the engine management system that could affect vehicle performance in the long term. Which vehicles are most likely to display the P0070 code? When in doubt, the safety and reliability of your vehicle are paramount, so it's best not to take unnecessary risks by attempting repairs if you don't feel confident in carrying them out correctly. Fault code P0070. In conclusion, understanding fault code P0070 is essential for diagnosing issues related to the outside air temperature sensor. A circuit failure can lead to inaccurate temperature readings, affecting your vehicle's performance and efficiency. If you encounter this code, it's crucial to inspect the sensor, wiring, and connections to ensure everything is functioning properly. By addressing this issue promptly, you can maintain optimal vehicle performance and avoid further complications down the road. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more automotive insights.